Hey there, Premier League fans. Welcome on to this week's episode of Between the Posts, where I'm Jason and he's Matt, and we look ahead to this weekend's games in the Premier League on to match week number 11. How's it going there, Matt?
Oh, it's going great. Going great. Not always excited to be on here with you and shoot the shit with some footy.
Yeah, it sure is. And I thought I had a lot of great bets, and then you messaged me your bets, and you've got a lot of great bets. Of course, we got our Between the Post parlay of the week, which we're coming off a nice winner last week. Salah to score or assist. Thank you for the keeper coming out and not being able to play the ball. And Aston Villa money line coming through nice and easy right there. So, all right, let's jump into it, Matt. Everybody knows I'm a United fan, and unfortunately, we got to kick off this show talking about Fulham and Manchester United, as that is the first game on Saturday morning. I mean, there's just so much you could talk about on this United team, and really just like how bad they are. People saw it with me yesterday in the EFL Cup. I have no problem fading Man United. Got a great plus 150 cash yesterday on Newcastle. I don't know if I'm quite willing to get there on Fulham, like maybe like a double chance or maybe like a Fulham plus 1.5. But I'm definitely sure as hell not taking United. I mean, this is a Fulham squad that is into the quarterfinals now of the EFL Cup. While they've been stumbling in the Premier League, maybe they were going to pick up a little bit of confidence yesterday and get into the quarterfinals of that competition. Now they come home. Nobody's scared of Man United. I mean, that's going to breed confidence in a load. If they go look at that tape against Sheffield a few weeks ago and saw how much Sheffield was a better team against United. So I really just think this is, do you have, not the stones to like back Fulham, but if you're not backing Fulham, you're not touching this game in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think that United, obviously the loss of Luke Shaw has been really crucial. We've seen United in years past struggle when he's kind of out of the lineup. Now they're going with Reguilon, who's just, he doesn't have the defensive work rate. I think you would need Rafael Varane to be in this lineup to have any sort of hope with Manchester United in this one. And I know you touched on the EFL Cup a little bit, Jason. I think a really good future, and I hate to make a Fulham Manchester United game about Liverpool, but here we are. I think that Liverpool,
Damn you.
I think that Liverpool plus 185 to win the League Cup is looking really good. I think that they've got a home match against West Ham, and then obviously you won't know who they face in the following. I think that they're the clear cut favorite. They are by the bookies, and I think they make it to a final. I really do. So I mean, then you could be holding plus 185 in a final on Liverpool. So I do like that. Kind of looking more into this United Fulham last three head to heads. Um, you know, United have gotten the better of them. So they won home and away last season against Fulham, but United were able to find a way to scrap points last season. They did beat them in the FA Cup too. Um,
If you're backing United, though, it feels like you're backing more of a name and not anything that you're seeing, with your eyeballs. I mean, nobody giving out any effort against Man City. Nobody giving out any effort against Newcastle. Players, everybody out of pitch, right? Lindelof's your left back. Bruno's your right winger. Like, Mount is not a number 10. Everybody's out of position. It's not working. Matt, I meant to throw this up in terms of like being prepared, so this is going to come in rather big, but let me shrink this. You'll laugh at this just like I did. Here you go, people. This is the attack for Man United this season in the Premier League. Like, you're not tailing that crap. I mean, you're not tailing that at all. The only guy who's got any production on that screen is got zero confidence. He doesn't want to take anybody on a dribble right now. All he wants to do is get around the 18-yard box and rip a shot because he's got no confidence in taking anybody one-on-one. Look at those stats, man. How are you not laughing?
I know it's bad. It's bad.
It's
I
so
was
bad.
looking kind of just down the line on because I do like the score or two assist market, and I mean if there was one thing like I'm not placing this, but if there was one guy that I would like to back who's definitely getting a lot of criticism right now is the captain, Bruno. Plus 135 to score or assist. I mean his crosses. He takes the penalties.
Takes the penalties. That's big, yeah.
So that's where I would be looking if I had to place anything here. I wouldn't be on United. I would be on Bruno to maybe spark something. So
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that's a decent lean. That's all I've got for this one, really.
But I would wait to check the lineups because if Bruno's on the right wing, I don't want that lean. No offense. I think that is a great
Yeah.
lean as a number 10, but not as a right winger. I don't want that lean as a winger. Oh man, man, I was talking about it yesterday on Daily Show. I kind of like I'm not rooting for United to like crash and burn, but like how bad can it get? It's been bad for a decade. Like let's just keep on going down. I don't know. It's so comical right now how bad it is over
It's
there.
yeah, it's bad, but I mean, I think that this is a pretty nice bounce back spot. I mean, when you look at like historical head to heads, United dominated this one. No losses against Fulham in their last 16 head to heads, unbeaten in 28 of 30 in the head to heads against Fulham. They've won 6 straight on the road at Craven Cottage in the Premier League. This is a great spot for them. If United has any backbone here, they will show it this weekend.
And if you're scared of maybe picking a side, an over or both teams to score is a great angle as well. Because if you look at the head to head that you mentioned, while United comes on top, there's goals and both teams are contributing to those goals in the United domination of the head to head as well.
Yeah, I lean both teams to score in over 2.5 here. I do think that there's goals potentially here. So, yeah, over 2.5 in United's last 4 at the Cottage against Fulham. So, yeah, I see goals here.
Okay, yeah, I could see some goals as well. All right, cool. All right, let's go, get off that dumpster fire. I don't like talking about that for too much longer. Let's go ahead and talk Brentford versus West Ham, where may have gotten tripped up by West Ham last week, but they went right back to what they do in the League Cup against Arsenal, which is both teams to score and hit an over. I feel like that's where I'm going to go again. I mean, that's the play in the West Ham games, even though you got tripped up. Because remember, that last time out, that was the first time they've been unable to score in any competition this season. So I would go right back to the bread and butter. You saw how good Brentford looked last week. This game's got goals for me. Really wouldn't be interested in trying to predict the winner. Just give me a goals and both teams contributing to the goals.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, I'm on both teams to score in over 2.5 here. The head-to-heads don't indicate it. Every single head-to-head between these two over the last few seasons has finished with a winner and then to nil. 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-0. You have to go back to 2021 to see both teams to score in over 2.5 come in this head-to-head. But I'm going to say screw the head-to-heads here. I mean, when you look at Brentford, they score at home. They're prolific at home. They have scored 1+ in their last 18 at home. And then, you look at West Ham. I mean, you've been on that gravy train all season, really. They're in the last 6 on the road in the Prem. BTTS, yes, has come in. They're scoring, 11 straight on the road. They've scored 1 or more. So just going to hope that last week was a bit of a blip and can try to count on both of these teams to find the back of the net.
Yeah, that's certainly where I would play it. I would be right there with you. It was the head-to-head that put me off of that, just because both teams have scored. No, for whatever reason, it seems to be hitting in that head-to-head. So that is ultimately what put me off. But I mean, you've got the play. That's the only play to make in this game is to go ahead and root for goals. I mean, West Ham's goal differential on the road is -2. I mean, that's just what they're doing. I mean, they're scoring and conceding everywhere, wherever they go. So, all right.
Yeah.
I really like that play, Matt. Yeah. But you're not trying to predict the winner, obviously, but would you, do you have a lean to any side or no?
Definitely would lean to Brentford at home just because they've been so good there. But yeah, I just think, it's even money. It's -102 at Bet Rivers. I think that it should be -120. That's just that's where I'm at here.
Oh, yeah, the both teams are scoring over 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Matt, let's go ahead now and turn our attention to Burnley versus Crystal Palace. We're right here on this show. We gave out a hell of a play at +225. Remember 0-0 at halftime? That's now hitting every Crystal Palace home game. I'm wondering if you can, and that stat is on home games. It doesn't play in this fixture here at Turf Moor, but I'm wondering if you could hit another 0-0 here at halftime. Just how good both these teams are going to be defensively, how really poor of them they are offensively. No Premier League side has scored fewer first half goals than Palace. Obviously, they've got 0 when they're at home, but they're also not scoring when they go away from Selhurst Park in the first half. It's not the great price that you're going to get. I think it's because, the two opponents, I think you really got that 225 price because of Tottenham and their prolific, scoring. But this one's +160, 174 for a 0-0. I'm wondering if I could maybe take a stab here on the road. Otherwise, it smells like an unders. Just nothing impresses me with either of these two sides. I just kind of lean Burnley, maybe even nick a win here. Maybe this is a spot where they can, rise up here at Turf Moor and get a win, but not want to be willing to bet. I really just like the under, but the under is so damn juicy, you can't even take a stab at that.
I know it's tough. It's kind of a clash in styles, really. Burnley, they're going to be hungry. They've got to come out here and try to collect the 3 points at Turf Moor and do something that they have failed to do. I mean, they've lost 5 consecutive at home at Turf Moor. I mean, that's not what you want with kind of a Premier League newbie is what we like to refer to them. They're just coming back up. You've got to collect points, draws, anything at home. So I think it is a good spot for them to try to collect something here, but you can't bank on them to get the win. Palace, I think that there's going to be a good time to get back onto Palace, but I'm just waiting for like Elise. I mean, how long has this dude been out for? It's freaking crazy.
It seems like it has been a while.
Yeah, with a thigh injury. I mean, this dude hasn't been. I mean, he's on October 20th. He's making good progress, but it's hard to get an ETA as the doctor is very cautious about when he can be allowed back in. They are getting closer. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Eze still doesn't look like he's going to go. Dean Henderson out. So, you put it all together and it's really just a match that I don't want to bet. I think that your angle though would be like a pretty strong lean for me would be halftime draw, like something
draw,
like
yeah.
that. Just kind of a straight. You probably get a nice plus price on that, and that's where I would go because I do think that Burnley still they have to be somewhat cautious because they know that Palace's defense is solid and they know that they're going to want to. Palace is going to relish the opportunity here to play on the counter attack. So you're going to have to be somewhat cautious when you're in possession for Burnley, and you can't just go guns blazing. So for me, it's a pass. It's a pass game.
Yeah, while I like the under, you could also maybe look at Burnley here on a double chance. I think is a pretty good parlay piece. They've won 3 of the last 5 head-to-heads, with the other 2 being a draw. So they have had the upper hand here in this head-to-head. I wasn't as put off of that home form that you mentioned. I mean, it's staggering when you look at it. It's 5 losses, but it's against City, it's against Villa, Tottenham, Chelsea, and United. I mean, those are established, obviously, big boy clubs. I'm not put off by their home form. I think against Palace, they rise up here. I bet they cover that double chance at around minus 200, and I would feel comfortable dropping that in a parlay. I would drop in the Burnley double chance in a parlay before I would jump in the over of like maybe you bump up to 3.5 or something. Just give me Burnley to rise up here at home against a sluggish Palace team.
I agree with you because we know that Burnley, at least, are scoring goals, and we know that Palace, I mean, they can just, they can be blanked pretty easily. Their attack, just especially with some of the key players out right now. I think that you're right. I think a minus 200 double chance makes a ton of sense.
That 0-0 hit last week was really a sweat freeze you can get. I mean, the nature of the bet is sweaty, but Palace did nothing, and really Tottenham really did nothing as well in that first half. So, yeah. I would go Burnley here on the double chance. I really like that play. I think that's a strong one. All right, let's move over now to Manchester City. They're going to be at home here at the Etihad taking on Bournemouth. Obviously, this one's going to be one-way traffic the entire time. Really excited to see what Man City does here. This is a team that never really gets to train. They just go from game to recovery to game to recovery. Now they get their first full week off, something they don't really get to experience. They're going to be fresh legs. They're going to be hungry. It's obviously going to be the best lineup that Guardiola can put out there. It's City, it's early, it's often a team total, win by any kind of margin, 2+ is okay with me. I'm going to take them to do what City does, which is usually come out strong in the first half and look to dust teams over and before they kind of settle down in the second half and pull it back. I like their first half team total at plus 134. You can get it around even money if you remove the team total and just do the full game over 1.5, but Bournemouth, is minus 155 to not score a goal in 90 minutes. They're not going to contribute. So give me the good plus 134 price. That's what I want.
So plus 134 on team total over 1.5 first half?
Yeah.
That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. I don't have anything else to add on this. I mean, I think it's one-way traffic. I think that I totally agree with your lean. I don't see how Bournemouth can cope here, really. Also, when you look at, I mean, kind of a brutal fixture list really for Bournemouth. I mean, having to play Liverpool yesterday in some nasty conditions. I mean, just it was gross out there, cold, wet. It was uh, the only thing you could say is like you could either look at it as a positive, like okay, we played a top team, we kind of held them, somewhat decently, but I think it's just you're just playing against a really top level team, and now you're going against the best team in the world. Now you got to travel on the road. Um, yeah, I think that City are in a great spot here. Yeah, City didn't have to play in the midweek. City were already out of the League Cup. This is a freaking golden spot here. Yeah. Plus, I'm going to have to probably sprinkle something on that first half play. I like it.
Yeah, I mean Arsenal batter them 5-0 at home. We know City's better than Arsenal. I mean it's going to be in that region of 5-0. In terms of a full game. I didn't even think of because I was all on City regardless. Yeah, they had Liverpool in the midweek. Like they had a really tough opponent. They had to play obviously yesterday in the midweek. Hell, they had Arsenal, United. Hell, they run into a gauntlet of teams.
Yeah.
Is Bournemouth? Whoa! All right. Yeah, City one-way traffic for me. All right, get your bets in on that one, boys. Get you good as a good plus money cash. Let's go ahead and pick up at Goodison Park. Let's go ahead and do Everton taking on Brighton here. Everton pulling out the 1-0 win at West Ham. I got to say, that was a big surprise. We talked about how West Ham has scored in every game, so to keep them at a clean sheet in their place was really impressive there by Sean Dice. Calvert-Lewin obviously getting the winning goal there. But this one's going to be tough against the Zerbi. Everton was involved in the EFL Cup. Brighton wasn't involved, so Brighton will be ready to go. We love everything about Brighton. I think both of them will contribute, though, to the score line, but I like Brighton to come out ahead. The money line is plus 125. Like, that's where I was not expecting a Brighton money line to be plus 125. For sure, they're not going to lose if you want to do them, and a double chance in a parlay. It'll be a good game, and one in which I think there's goals, but Brighton's the better team by far with the extra rest. They'll get it done.
Yeah, I just I don't even care who gets it done here. I mean, I think the stats, the head-to-heads, everything backs us up. We know that Everton are in the top 7 or so in terms of created expected goals, which will be key. We know that Brighton, they do their thing. I mean, look at this. What a staggering head-to-head last year. 5-1 for Everton on the road at the Amex, and then Everton at Goodison was a 4-1 beat down by Brighton. So I mean, we had 11 goals in the head-to-head last season. Both teams to score and over 2.5 cashing. Hell, both teams to score and over 4.5 cashing in both of them. Then you look at the season prior, another 3-2 to Brighton. So the last 3 head-to-heads have been extremely promising. Then you get into just Brighton as a whole. Both teams to score has hit in the last 14 Premier League matches for Brighton. So I'm pretty confident here that Everton can bag something. And, their last 3 at Goodison, Everton, in their matches, over 2.5 goals have been seen. This is just like a perfect storm, really, for me to be on both teams to score an over 2.5 at minus 137 at Bet Rivers.
Yeah, you got me sold on that. Good stuff. I remember that matchup at the Amex last year because I believe that was pretty late in the season when Everton was full on in that relegation. Maybe it was May or maybe it was late April. They just out physicaled them in that game and whooping them up. Yeah, you're right. Goals. Maybe you don't try and predict the sign. Just go for goals.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Okay. All right, Matt. What do you think about Sheffield versus Wolves? Why don't you kick that one off?
Oh, kind of a match that I breezed by pretty quickly. That it's not one that I really want to get that involved in. I mean, these teams haven't played in a little bit. I mean, look at Sheffield. Look at Sheffield. 6 consecutive losses. So they played Arsenal, they played United, they played Fulham, they played West Ham, played Newcastle, played Tottenham. I mean, not the easiest. I mean, they were on the road to Fulham and West Ham. So like the 2 lesser teams, they were away from home. But I mean, they're in a really brutal run here. So you would like to think that Wolves should relish this opportunity, but I think that this is one of those 2, Jason, we talk about all the time. Like Sheffield has got to have a go here. and both
Hmm.
teams to score has been seen in all of Wolves' last 8 games. Um, what do we have on a price for both teams to score? Because that's where I would be going.
I will say I was really surprised when you sent over your bets that you weren't on that Wolves money line at basically even money. I mean, obviously Sheffield hasn't won a game all season. Their goal differential is damn near the worst in the league. They look atrocious most near every week. I was really surprised you weren't on that Wolves money line. I'm going to parlay the Wolves double chance with the Brighton double chance is kind of where I'm at. I don't see Brighton losing, given they had the full week off, even though Everton may get goals, and I do agree with you. Wolves and Brighton to me aren't losing against Sheffield and Everton. I put them in a double chance parlay this weekend. Wolves, in terms of them against Sheffield, they've covered the double chance in 5 of the last 6 head-to-heads. Again, Sheffield hasn't won a game all season. They've been atrocious. Let's see. I'll go ahead and look up your both teams to score here. I'll get you a price.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it. Minus 135 on a BTTS. Yes, I totally agree with that. I think that's shaded correctly. Sheffield have got to have a go at home. Wolves, last 8, like I said, BTTS, yes, have come in on the last 8. Sheffield allowing goals at home. There, I mean, yeah, this one looks pretty good. I'm not that interested, I guess, in Wolves here. I don't know why. I think it's kind of, you know, Wolves on the road in some of these games against the lesser teams. I always feel like it's a touch bit trappy. I like the both teams to score yes a lot more.
I'll tell you, the head-to-head though has 7 of the last 8 between these two clubs has seen both teams to score no. Has seen no. Price shot
True.
though, because I'm
They
seeing
haven't
minus
played.
122 on Bet Rivers. I'm seeing minus
Okay.
122 on Bet Rivers, which is fantastic.
See, that's a much better price. I know I was looking at some of the prices. There was an awful line by DraftKings on one of the both teams to score in over 2.5. So it was like minus 135 and every other like FanDuel, Bet Rivers, like plus 100. It's like, what are we doing here?
Oh wow.
So, um, yeah, minus 122. God, I kind of want to add that because I don't care as much on the head to heads because these two teams haven't played in quite some time. They played last year in an FA Cup,
Hmm.
or 20, yeah, 20, yeah, they did play in an FA Cup, but who knows what kind of lineups those teams were putting out there. I don't care as much about the head-to-head. I like the recent form here, and I think that Sheffield have got to have a go here at home. So, um, yeah, minus 122. I think that's shaded right. I think it should be the favorite. You would like to think that maybe these teams with their offensive inefficiencies, you could say like maybe you would think it would be a dog price, but I think it's shaded right.
I'm wondering though, because Sheffield only has 7 goals in 10 games, so you figure maybe even some games they've got multiple games. I wonder how many times they've just been unable to get it done. So they didn't get it done against Arsenal, West
Which is
Ham.
expected. I mean, there's some of these matchups have been tough. Newcastle,
They didn't score against
Arsenal.
Lincoln at home. Lincoln, wow, that's freaking bizarre.
Yeah, that's a bit of a concern.
And they don't score against Palace in the season opener. Wow. Hmm. Yeah, I hear you. And meanwhile, they're covering it on theirs. You'd have to go. You got to go all the way back to the EFL Cup. Was the last time Wolves didn't have a both teams a score hit, and it was against Blackpool, which is probably in League Two or League One. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, let's move over now. This is probably, I would think, the better of the game over the entire weekend at St. James Park. It's Newcastle and it's Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal getting dumped out of the EFL Cup. Newcastle now knocking out both Manchester clubs in that competition. This one, Matt, is one of those ones where you look at it, and I think everybody's going to gravitate towards goals because of the names and the standings and where they're at. Well, we know when we think there's goals, we generally don't get goals and we get unders, Matt. That's what we normally get. What do you think?
Yeah, this game is going under. It is, but I'm not going to bet it. I don't want anything to do with this matchup purely based on the inactives. No Tenali, obviously. What a degenerate like us. Um,
Right.
um, you look at no Tenali. That's a big miss. No Harvey Barnes still. No Sven Botman in the defense.
That's big.
Alexander Isak out. There's those keys, and then you look at Arsenal. Jesus out. I think that's a big miss for one of these type of matches. Thomas Partey out. Um, Those are two clear-cut starters for them, and you put it all together. If you made me bet it, I would take Newcastle, draw no bet, because I think that they've just been really tough at home. But some of those inactives just – I also think that the game goes under too. I think that Arsenal, they're not really allowing a lot of – Arsenal's defense is so solid. They're not allowing a lot of clear-cut chances. And with no Jesus, I think that he's a key miss here.
Well, we gave out the stats last week on XG conceded. Arsenal was third best in the league on XG conceded. I mean, obviously a top team.
Yeah, they're a top team. But, yeah, their defense is solid. So you put it all together. I think I just got a kind of a bunch of touchy leans and really nothing that I want to make official. I lean under 2.5, and I lean Newcastle, draw no bet.
Yeah, that's where I was at in this game in terms of bets versus leans, more of a lean perspective. 5 straight under 2.5s in this head-to-head. How about, Matt, 10 straight both teams to score no in this head-to-head? 10 straight both teams to score no, and they're giving me that at plus money. And you've mentioned some of the offensive guys that are missing out. We were talking about Nketiah before the show started. One of those guys who expect him to do that against Sheffield, maybe not a hat trick, but he can have that performance. Can he have that performance up against a really solid Eddie Howe team and a Nick Pope in the goal? No. I wouldn't expect Nketiah to do a damn thing in this. I kind of like both teams to score no. A grinder out kind of game. Whoever can kind of get the tactics right and set it up. I want that plus money price. It's hitting 10 straight.
I totally agree. I would be on that. If I'd over the both teams to score yes. So you're giving me a plus price. There's probably a small edge there on that both teams to score no. And I did mention Nketiah would have a nice day last week, and then he goes and bags a hattie.
You did mention that. Yes, you did. He helped you out right there. Big time. All right. That was going to be an interesting game. All right, let's go over to Nottingham Forest. They're taking on Aston Villa. We are both giving out the exact same bet in this game. We're both giving out both teams to score, and we're both going to tack on over 2.5 with it at a plus money price. I mean, it's just we love everything about Forest at home. Last campaign at Forest, it was a 1-1. Plenty of chances to get that second, as sometimes obviously footy happens and you don't get that third goal. But I would go right back to it with where this game is being played, the XG numbers for both of these teams, the XG numbers for Forest really at home. Even XG's Forest conceded at home is really good. And then obviously Villa comes along with it. I don't know. We've got the same bet. It's plus money. I love everything about it.
Yeah, it's Villa are just a cash cow for this kind of play, really. I mean, their offense is borderline elite. And then we know that Forest generally at home kind of get going, and we know that their attack is capable of scoring 1 or 2 on their day. So, yeah, I just decided, I do think that Villa probably win this one. But you look at Forest. I mean, haven't been beat in 17 of 19 at home. So that's what kind of kept me off that one. And yeah, just go for goals here. I mean, I'm pretty confident that Villa can score 2. I'm confident that Forest can contribute here. And you're giving me it at a plus price, plus 102 on a both teams to score and over 2.5. It's another one this week that I'm on that I think it should be minus 120.
Yeah, I agree. As soon as I built the parlay and it was at plus money, I couldn't get my money on it faster. I wonder if you could try and thread the needle like we did with Palace and Tottenham going 0-0 at halftime and then calling the Tottenham money line. There's been 11 goals scored in Forest's home games. 9 of the 11 have come after halftime. So if this is low scoring in the first half, it's okay. It's okay. I still think our bet is going to be really good. I don't expect that with this Villa squad, but 9 of the 11 have come after halftime, so don't be discouraged if there's a low-scoring first half here at Forest. A couple more games. We got to pick up Luton Town. They're taking on Liverpool. This is going to be another one just like City and Bournemouth in terms of the one-way traffic. When I started to look at this game, I gravitate more times than not to the team totals, and I started thinking about Luis Diaz. I'm going to be cautious on Liverpool's team totals because he hurts the depth and he hurts, scoring late, but not against Luton. I'm really not worried about Liverpool, not scoring enough goals to cover an over 2.5 team total. It's a complete mismatch. And they're just going to dominate them, quite frankly. Luton's been getting hurt by the big teams. And obviously this is a title challenge team here in Liverpool. So they're going to, just like we said in City, cover a margin, a team total, a first half, whatever you want. I'm just going to do the flat over 2.5 team total at minus 115.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it sucks with the Luis Diaz stuff. Obviously a key player, but they have a lot of depth in the front lines, and it looks like there's been an update on it about 8 minutes ago.
Oh,
The Colombian government announces that ELN, a criminal armed group, are the ones who kidnapped Luis Diaz's father, and there are still no updates on his rescue after 5 days.
yeah.
That's some scary shit. I kind of look at it as like, I don't know, like why is he having, I don't want to put any blame towards Luis Diaz, but like if it were me, like I'm a top player, like I'm getting paid all this money, like wouldn't you freaking move your parents out to Liverpool? Like unless they probably love Colombia and they've lived there their whole lives and stuff like that, so that would be tough. But I mean, you make so much money, like you should be able to buy another house, right next door for your parents type stuff. But um, let's get back to the game. I think that this is a perfect spot really for Liverpool. I know that Liverpool yesterday they were supposed to get on a flight back to Anfield, but the weather was so bad in Bournemouth that they actually ended up having to take a coach back, and so they bus back
Oh wow.
to Liverpool. So that's just a little tidbit there, but yeah, Luton. What more can we say? We've cashed a lot this year. They've been the most profitable side, I think, for me, just to bet against. This season. So yeah, Luton, they're in trouble here, and I'm going back to the same bet that I did last week. Mo Salah to score, Liverpool to win, plus 107. I think that's pretty fair. I think that I think it's probably a 3-1, 4-1, 3-0, 4-0, something like that to Liverpool, and they get the job done.
Yeah, they get the job done pretty handily. I just still don't know how did his mom get captured or get rescued, but his dad didn't. I guess they had him in two different
I know.
places. That was weird.
I know. I'm not that piece. I don't know either. That's crazy.
Well,
Yeah,
hopefully his dad will
weird.
be rescued as well very shortly.
Yeah.
Brutal stuff. All right, Monday we got one more game, and it's on Monday. White Hart Lane, Tottenham, Chelsea. Tottenham money lines at plus money. Pistaglio going to go ahead and keep it rolling. I don't see why he can't. Chelsea against Brentford were disappointing, I got to say. We're good first half, couldn't quite finish their chances, and then the second half, some mistakes. Really bad stuff right there. I still even remember how that last play, how Sanchez doesn't take down Neil Maupay and just, I guess he just didn't want to, get a 3-game ban. I mean, he caught up to him and then he doesn't tackle him and finish the play. I don't know, weird stuff right there. But I kind of like Tottenham here at home against Chelsea. I'm not worried that it's a Chelsea side. I give me Tottenham here, plus money price.
Yeah, I could only go that way. I mean, I still think that Chelsea are just a weird, inconsistent team. They have won the XG battle, like we know, in a lot of their matches, but I mean, they pulled a Spursy move the other week against Arsenal, being 2-0 up
Man,
against them. That was super Spursy of them. Definitely doesn't instill confidence in the squad whatsoever. And then what? Didn't they got beat?
they gave it back to
Uh,
Arsenal and finished 2-2. They gave it
Yeah,
back
they
to them.
gave that one back,
Just
but
like they did
then
against
the
Brentford in
follow
the second half. They were better in the first
yeah, the
half.
follow up after that was getting sliced and diced by Brentford. Spurs didn't have to play in the midweek. Chelsea still have got to trot out some guys and play against Blackburn Rovers yesterday. Can't take anything from that match. I mean, it's freaking Blackburn Rovers and it's Chelsea at home. So um, I
If
I
you're looking
don't
for a
want to bet.
parlay leg, Spurs are about minus 280 on the double chance. If you're looking for a parlay, haven't lost all season. Can't imagine they lose to
That's
Chelsea.
strong. That's strong. Tottenham double chance, Burnley double chance plus price. That's interesting to me. I think they were carving out. I think an initial look, and this is why I love doing the show with you, and I think it's very valuable. Is kind of just going back and forth and carving out some things. I think on the initial look of the card, it looks tough, but when you really kind of dive in and you talk about stuff like this, I mean, yeah, I would be shocked if Spurs got beat here at home. Shocked.
Shocked. Shocked.
They're playing better. They're healthier than Chelsea. That's not to say that I don't think that this match, it could go. It's a 50-50 kind of match, but I think that the ball definitely rolls towards Spurs. So, yeah.
Yeah, I punched up the price here. A Tottenham Burnley double chance parlay plus 101. Kind of like it. Have to stew that one over.
Yeah.
I think that one gets added. Normally I isolate Monday and kind of see how the weekend goes, but coming off a 4-1 day in the EFL Cup yesterday, maybe I just stay with the hot momentum and go ahead and add it right here on a Thursday afternoon. All right, let's go ahead and first reveal our between the post parlay of the week. We're going to hit a back-to-back weeks here, boys. All right, Matt. Well, it's pretty easy for us. We both just said, give us the big boys up against the garbage teams and get them to just win each by 2+. It was pretty straightforward. I think this is actually surprising. I'm actually on the Liverpool leg. That's actually surprising. Yeah, right? No, I'm on the City leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was kind of just a both. It was more of a collab. It was more of a collab play. And then another one that we did collab on that is about the same price. I think it was plus 116. Plus 115, something like that, is Erling Haaland to score and Mo Salah to score or assist. Those have been some, I think that both players right now are in pretty good form. Haaland's kind of coming back. We like both of these teams minus 1.5. They're the key men for both of these sides. So that's also something to consider.
And yeah, you gave that one out to us while we were talking pre, and I went ahead and hit it. I wonder what you got me wondering, because we always talk about Haaland struggling against good teams. They figured it out, but he feasts on these, bottom feeder teams. I just what are they giving you for Haaland 2+ is plus 118? Yeah, I would work him in a parlay. Every weekend I make an anytime goal scoring parlay. I'm going to do Haaland 2+ at plus 118. He's going to go off against Bournemouth.
I like that. I would look towards, I mean, if we want to chat about some of those, I mean, those are always fun. Try to carve out like a big price.
Let's do it. I'll pull up my phone.
You remember a couple weeks ago when I was like, I really like this draw no bet parlay? That one almost came.
That one missed by one. That one missed by one. Yeah. I went back and looked. I thought that one hit, and then I looked at my bet history. No, it missed by one leg.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. There was a few draws in that one, I believe, but I think that somebody you've got to look towards in a parlay for that, it would obviously be Nunez. I mean, Nunez is kind of on fire. A 2+ Nunez could absolutely see that with a Haaland. You could maybe look towards like a Heung-min Son. Or a Son Heung-min. I still don't know which one it freaking is.
Hey, you know what I hit yesterday? It was pretty funny. I hit any Saarbrücken player to score at plus 540.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen odds. I've never seen them not give a player, break out the players. They said anybody on this goddamn team could score against Bayern. I'll give it to you at plus 540. I said, hell, I'll take a chance. They're at home. I'll take a stab.
Wow.
What the hell?
That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that we're right there. The three, probably most, elite goal scorers right now, you would probably categorize as Haaland, Son, Salah, Nunez. So it's tough to pick the Liverpool. I have to say it's very difficult. That's why I've been kind of, looking more towards like a score or assist market for Salah because he's been so good with his assists as well. But those would be the three kind of main guys that you're looking for. Maybe you're looking at an Ollie Watkins and Villa. That offense is very solid.
Give me who do you like? Do you like Ferguson or Matomo at Brighton? I'm building. I'm building this thing.
I mean, I think it would be Ferguson. Just for me, I think that Matoma is the guy. He also is assisting a lot. But yeah, that's. That is where I would be going. Something along those lines with those guys.
Okay. All right. As for official bets that we've got, boys, that we really encourage you to go ahead and back. It looks like Matt's on a couple both teams scoring over 2.5s and Everton, Brighton, Brentford, West Ham, Forest, Villa, and then he likes Salah to get the job done with obviously Liverpool winning. I'm going to go ahead and follow him on Forest, Villa. I did do the Man City first half team total. My Wolves double chance parlay, or Brighton Wolves double chance parlay, and that Liverpool team total is how I'm going to go ahead and roll this weekend. Earned a sub. My man, appreciate you, my man. We do this every single week. It's live every single Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. We even mix in some Champions League whenever, those competitions are involved. So appreciate you and look forward to talking more footy with you. All right, Matt, coming off a good midweek in EFL Cup, I think this smells like keep that broom handy material right here. Keep the broom handy.
I love it.
All right, fellas, enjoy the games this weekend. We'll see you back here next week. Enjoy it, Matt.